Hello and welcome to another Wilderness Tamed video. I'm going to kind of backtrack to one of my earlier videos. I think it's garden lesson number 1. And in that I go on about one of the most important things you need to understand when you're first getting into gardening. And it's balance. Of that. So balance is really important, not your own balance, although that does help, but the balance between roots and leaves, and understanding what each of them does. So roots draw in water and minerals and nutrients for the plant to, in order to grow. Leaves release water through transpiration. It's like us sweating. So the surface area of the leaves on any plant must not exceed the surface area of the roots, because if the leaves are transpiring and losing more water than the plant can take in through the roots, then the plant is condemned to a slow, wilty death. And nobody wants that. I'll show you what I mean. So here's a golden privet, Ligustrum ovalifolium, aurea, or whatever it's called, that I've taken out of its existing hedge line, and I'm transplanting elsewhere in the garden to create a new hedge line. Now, as you can see, there's quite a bit of top growth on this. So lots of little leaves. And then we pan down, we see that in the digging out process, I've had to sacrifice some of the root ball. Now, privet are notoriously shallow rooted and do seem to have a fairly limited root system. But I still want to ensure that this plant is going to survive the trauma of having its supply chain interrupted, i.e. the water, minerals and nutrients going up through the roots there. So in order to do that, I need to remove some of this top growth, cut it off, and that just restores the balance. Again, it's all of these leaves will, maybe it's not in this weather because it's about 5 degrees centipede in mid-March, but there are cells in the undersides of the leaves and the top surface to some degree, stomata, which are the sweat glands, like the sweat pores in our skin, and that is what the during the process of photosynthesis, that's where the water and the oxygen is released. So they take in carbon dioxide in through the leaves and release oxygen and water out through the leaves in this process called transpiration, which is why they suggest that we sing to or talk to our plants, because we're breathing carbon dioxide over them, and that's what they use in photosynthesis. So, very small root system, big crown, a lot of top growth. We need to address the balance. So I think first off I shall pop it in the ground and then prune it in situ. So there we have it, plonked in the ground, and I mean, it looks all right, but I can guarantee you that level of trauma is not going to do this plant any good. Apart from anything, I need to trim it up so it's away from the grass and doesn't overshadow the edge of the lawn too much. Although it's a wildflower lawn, or it's managed as a wildflower lawn, so but still we don't want to overshadow anything too much. Height wise, I'm quite happy with that because we want it to get above the height of the fence. But still, I think we're going to have to lose some of that. We'll lose this spindly looking bit anyway, just to give it a chance to survive. So, see if I can actually get some of this documented on film. Here we go. I'll lose you. And some of your surroundings. Somebody making friends. Bit of that. Let's go in for this. There's quite a bit overhanging. Yeah, get a big chunk off there, get that big chunk off there. There's a couple of reasons why I'm transplanting these privet from their current situation, which is up against a wrought iron railing, and putting them against this wooden fence, because this wooden fence is pretty much on the verge of collapse. So we want to just hide it with a new living hedge, and it'll rot away and collapse and rot down into the soil without becoming too much of an eyesore. If you look further along, there's bottom rails falling off. And these posts aren't too bad, but you see that looks a bit tatty there. So yeah, rather than go to the expense of ripping the fence out and then disposing of all the timber, we're just going to let it rest in peace. Just going to nibble that a bit off the side there. Oh, classic finger over the camera. Oh, that was a big bit. Get rid of that. Yeah, it's not too bad. So that might well survive. If it looks a bit shoddy and a bit wilty when I come back next week, not a major problem. I can take more growth off it. I've allowed the leaves over the autumn to mulch down into this little bit of bed here, so I'll top off around that just to protect the roots, give them a bit of moisture retention and insulation against what forthcoming frosts that we might get. Again, help to sort of reduce the stress load on those, but we'll keep an eye on this and see how it does, and I'll do the same with the other plants as they go in. I hope you're learning from this.